them to the specificities of the town. In the case of indicator number 10, for example. Nevertheless, even on the methodological plane, some challenges were listed in terms of indicator number 4, indicator 5, and still ongoing challenges such as the preliminary identification of the public funds for indicator 11, or still inaccessible indicators, for example, data concerning the expenditure by households in the field of culture at the level of Essaouira, pertaining to indicator number 7. Next slide, please. Now for gender equality through the filter, as seen through the filter of the cultural indicators. The concept is clearly framed by a number of integrated public policies or measures enshrined in national or international strategies, which can be quoted here just to give you an idea of the environment, the legal or regulatory environment in which we are evolving in Morocco. That is to say, the elaboration of an integrated public policy for gender equality, ICRAM 1 and 2. We're currently rethinking, training for a third version of this policy. Then there's also a strategy of institutionalization of gender equal chances in the public field. And there's also a network of interministerial gender equality meetings, a national strategy fighting against violence committed towards women, the integration of the gender issue in the organic law pertaining to the finance law since 2015, a sort of excellency in budgetization center that is supposed to contribute to gender awareness, and an audit that was carried out in the different ministerial departments. However, there are still some challenges. We need to define more specifically how these programs are implemented in the different territorial sub-units, and then produce some more systematic, sensitive statistic data in the field of gender culture pertaining gender issues. And then in terms of sustainable development, also analyzing the corresponding match between the sustainable development goals and those existing statistical systems, and then a monitoring of the gender equality issues at the national and regional level. Now I think I'll skip that slide. That will come back to perhaps later on during the debate, if you will. So,
Madame.
Throughout all of this project, we were able to conclude, obviously, a failure in statistic produced at the national level, with the exception of the Cinematographic Center and the National Library in Morocco. So most data were too spread cultural, participative and decentralized strategy that would be aligned on the new Sustainable Development Goal objectives and plead in favor of the inclusion of a specific objective in this list of Sustainable Development Goals, basically. And without further ado, I'll give the floor to the representative of the SCP in order to give you more details on this aspect of things. Thanking you for your attention.
Merci beaucoup, Madame.
Thank you very much. Good day to you.
Vraiment, on devrait avancer un peu vite.
We are a little bit pressed by time by now.
C'est possible de...
Good day. If you could speed up a little bit,
Très court.
or try to be as succinct as possible. Sure, I'll do my best. but I still need the PowerPoint to come on the screen if possible. Thank you. Right, I'll try to summarize as briefly as possible an extract of this internal exercise, basically, that was computed at the level of the Planning Commissariat. My name is Myriam Bijard. I was at the HCP Planning Commission, basically, in charge of this report, and I'll try to give you a little bit of background information to begin with. So this indicating project, HCP project, was supposed to meet the demand on behalf of the Cultural Ministry, basically regarding the Cultural Indicators 2030 in terms of available data and sustainable development goals. Next slide, please. So this is a brief summary of the structure existing at the level of the HSP, with the General Secretariat level, and altogether 19 persons at the level of the HCP were entirely dedicated to this series of Cultural Indicators 2030. Basically, taking a dive over the 5 indicators appearing on the screen, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. Next slide, please. In terms of working method, we started with a series of consultation meetings in order to get things going, communicating to the rest of the team the mandate and the object of this query, basically 3 meetings with cultural experts and representatives of the technical departments in the HCP, as well as some virtual thematic meetings, including the regional and international experts. Next slide, please. In terms of outputs, the 5 requested indicators were calculated on the basis of the following elements. First of all, some available data available from the Statistic Institute extracted from households, and also on the basis of some national accounting database. Next slide. The first indicator had to do with national heritage expenses, public and private. We found some for the year 2019, both in the terms of expenses for leisure and culture, as well as cult activities, and then the production by the state in the field of leisure and culture and cults. There were found in the national accounts, and the indicator 6 similarly with its added value. Next slide, please. So 7th indicator had to do with cultural employment. There we were able to find out about grouped workers, matching indeed the preliminary category of the UNESCO's cultural statistics, FCS 2009. Old consumption, that was a huge work that had to be computed by the HCP, including 3 different scenarios: the restricted one, the widened 1, and widened 2. The restricted first limited scenario was basing itself on the COE COP 2018. The result was 0.68. The first widened scenario with the restricted scenario aggregated with some of the expenses pertaining to the different groups of the goods and services pertaining to culture led to 7.45, and the second widened scenario was aggregating the 2 first ones plus sports and tourism as well as their products, and that increased by 7.68% the results. Feeding there by the survey computed by the HSP. Next slide. So indicator 8, concerning the aggregation of statistics pertaining to cultural enterprises with respect to HCP/RSE 2021 of organized companies registered in the text repertoire. A source was found as mentioned before. Now, in terms of future perspective, the High Commission obviously formulated a wish for an improvement of the total statistical data produced, trying to compensate for identified lacunas. Thank you for your attention.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. Okay, we're now a little bit behind time, and we hope we can
Thank you very
we can
much.
quickly catch up.